So I have started recording this call, and we'll get started in the next 1 minute. Let's see. Let's see. So I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain it as pretty easy as possible. I'm going to explain. Please confirm you can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Okay. Great. So I'm going to explain as easy as possible. So it's going to be in two parts. We're going to have we're going to have introduction to GitHub first, and then we're going to have some introduction to Git. So it's going to be pretty basic, but then there are some resources online that you can expand your knowledge. So major thing is just for me to set you guys on the right path, and then you guys can take it up from there. So let me share my screen. Um, okay, should I just share entire screen? No. Oh, one sec. Let me move this to a new window. Okay. Okay. Let me. Why is my screen not showing? Okay, I haven't shared it. Okay, share entire screen. Okay, so I will just pin this. So interesting. Um, let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started with GitHub first. There's someone that has his mic on. Let me see. Okay, so we're going to get started with GitHub first, right? Before we get started with let me log out before we get started with Git. But I'm not sure Git. I'm just going to give like an introduction to Git later on. But then, if you've used Git before, let me see your response in the chat. If you've used Git before, let me see your response in the chat. Has anyone used Git before? Okay, one. Who else is there? Or you've heard of Git or GitHub before? For those of you that attended Oscar Fest, you heard of GitHub. I remember Ruth Ikega talking about how to make your first contribution. Yeah, make your first contribution, with open source. Okay, great. Desktop version. Okay, no stress. No, I haven't. Great, that's great. So pretty much, this call is for everyone. So first off, if you're very conversant with Google Docs, right, you will discover that you can sort of you can do a few things with it. Like first thing is that you can collaborate. Like so, myself and Ibukun can be on the same document, like updating, creating, and then we can actually see like some versions of what it looks like. Let me just see if I can call up. If I can call up one example document. Let me create one. I'm just going to show you just some example. So this is an example page. All right. I just hope there is an audio in what I'm recording because it can be crazy sometimes. It can be crazy sometimes. So what's this? Okay, yeah, okay. So Um, so yeah, so first thing first, let's say I create like example documents, right? You can see now at the top right, it's showing somewhere here. Last edit was seconds ago, right? You can now see that there's a version history. So anything I say that looks very ambiguous, like I'll advise that you just call me back to it. You can actually unmute yourself and call me back to it. Trust me, I will appreciate that. So you can see here that it's showing last edit was seconds ago. So it sort of keeps track of like a version, right, of your document. So the moment I add, let me see, who can I add on this document now? Who can I add on this document? Who can actually make use of Google Docs? Let me see if I can add you as soon as possible, like as quickly as possible. Please speak out. Me, who is me? Timothy. Timothy, what's your email? Timothy. Um, let me call that up. Okay, Timothy Oma OMAMEGBE at Gmail. Yeah. So I'm going to add Timothy to that document, right, as an editor. So I'm using this Google Docs explanation to make you understand what version control and version history looks like. So Timothy, you're going to get like an email. I'll advise you to jump on this document like ASAP, so you can actually come and like make some stuff below it. But let me just make it like some simple documents. You can see Timothy has his name highlighted somewhere here, right? So you can see that both of us are currently making edits on the same document. Does it make sense? I would like responses in the chat, or maybe you can speak out. Does it make sense? Timothy is right. So you can see what we can do. We've been able to do. Now let me increase this word. Right. You can see that while he's writing Timothy is a fine boy, I can actually come in and put not and then make it like in bold. You know, all of this is collaboration and then sort of versioning. So last edit was seconds ago. So I'm going to now show you something. If I should open the version history, you will see like some history right here. If it's too small, you can let me know. So you can see here version history, and you can see all versions. You can see here that um, 1009, I created a document, right? This is 1009. Next, you can see it's like a version between myself and Timothy. Does it make sense? So right here now, I can expand to see like some detail, right? And then I can see, if I should zoom out, I'll be able to see all of the versions if I click on any of this. I'm not teaching you how to use Google Docs. I'm only teaching you what it looks like, what version control or version history looks like. So here, if I should click on this first time I created the document, right? This is where my cursor is, right? It's going to show me an empty document because that was when the document was created. If I should click on the next time I created a document, you can see here that it has showed me a version that was created by Favor Chukwedo. So if I should keep going upwards, you will see now that there are more versions coming up. Like it's showing me like a history of all the versions. I keep coming up, and then I can see now that Timothy, joined me. You can see that Timothy joined me, and then I removed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and added, the ones that have this strike through, this line across them is called a strike through. Um, so you can see here the one that has this line across them is called a structure. That means I deleted those documents or the contents. So and I added these guys. Then Timothy added this one. You can see here that the ones that I added is actually different. It sort of has a different color than Timothy. So that's really what version control is about. So now I'm in the current version. So it's almost the same thing when you are creating or building systems or building structures or creating codes. So you can decide to collaborate with someone, or while you are writing your code and pushing to GitHub, it creates like a history. It creates a history of, let me show my face so you, it creates a history of the process. Like, it creates a history of the process. So I created my Hello World project, or for example, I created my HTML boilerplate. And when I did that, I pushed it to GitHub, right? Using I pushed it, to GitHub, for example. So it creates a history. Okay, boilerplate was created. What was like the content of the boilerplate? Did you ensure like the standard HTML5 boilerplate or sort of markup, or did you just write it haphazardly? So that's like an example. So I'm going to now move to GitHub now. So there is Git and then there is GitHub. So everybody confuses, the difference between Git and GitHub. But best I can say is Git is on the terminal, right, and does version control for you, and GitHub is like some sort of graphics user interface like GUI that you can actually rather than you using your terminal, you can actually it's a repository. GitHub is a repository. Good, that's the best word. It's a repository where you store your items. So here now, I think the best explanation now is this Google Docs can be your GitHub. For example, this Google Docs can be, what's this? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please let me know, please. Okay. If you can hear me, I think I'm having issues with my connection. Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. 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 So, like I was saying, um, what was I saying? Google Docs can be your GitHub, but don't take my word for it. Though this is just the best explanation I'm going to give you to understand what Git is and what GitHub means. So, GitHub is like a storage place where you put all your repository. Repository is like your code base. So, for example, when you build your calculator project, that code base is like a repository, is a repo. When you build your that CV builder application, it's a repository, right? So this time around, GitHub is a repository, right? It's like a bucket that stores all your repositories. So Google Docs right here can serve as that um, storage house for all of your documents. So for each individual document you create in Google Docs, it keeps like a copy of, it's more like a repository of maybe your HTML project or your calculator project or whatever project. So Git, Git and GitHub, they have a version control system. So for version control, like I explained, um, like I explained in this document, you can see here that it has a version. So for every of your when you create your UI for your calculator project, that's like a first version. You push it to GitHub, it keeps track. When you now add a functionality to maybe the addition sign, maybe you created a function that's okay, that does okay, when you do this number plus this number, it gives you this result. That's like a function. It keeps track and you push it to GitHub. It keeps track of that version. So for every new item you add, and for every time you push to that bucket that's like a repository, it keeps track. So if you look here, you can see that for every time that something occurred, it kept track of it. So per time, right? Unlike GitHub, it's not really per time. It's actually per the time you push it. You say, okay, I'm sending this document to you to go keep track of the versions. So let's now go back to GitHub. So how do you get started? First thing, you get started by accessing github.com, right? Um, I think I should just create a new document and then be putting like some. I'm just going to create a document. Put GitHub. My boss is here. GitHub. Hi, Dilly. Welcome. So GitHub. What's happening? Why can't I type? Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. Welcome. I was wondering why I could not type. I didn't know that I was watching through the version history. So I'm going to go back to my documents and then I can. So Timothy, I'm going to delete this. right? Um, and then let me just make it legible. So the reason I'm doing this is just for others are going to join the call. Oh damn. Okay, okay. For others are going to join the call. So getting that started with GitHub is you have to create an account first off. So two parts: explain what GitHub means, and then explain. The second part will be about around like some introduction to Git, right? So GitHub.com, um, you're going to create an account, right? And this is the screen you're going to be shown. So right here, you have to click the sign up button. I already have an account there, so I'm not going to sign up anymore. So you have to sign up first off. Oh, so a lot has changed actually. Initially, it used to be like like an input box. So for all of you now that are looking out for what's the word? For all of you that are looking out for ideas to be like your next project, you can see now that he has like an intuitive interface where I can actually sign up. So rather than you showing me like input boxes, right? You can see like it has some sort of intuitive interface that has like a journey. So enter your email. So you have to enter your email here. I'm not going to register with this, so I'm just showing you like a walkthrough, and then you click continue, and then you create a password, and then you click continue, right? So I think I am not sure. I guess you're going to. Okay, let's do something. I'm going to create an email, like a new account with my work profile. So you can even do this on your mobile phones, right? You can actually do this on your mobile phone. So then I click continue. I want you to create a password for me. Who send this one message? Um, uh, okay. I click continue. Yeah. Then it's asking me if I want to receive product updates announcement via email. I'll say no because I have so many things to look out for. But then you can say yes. So it's asking me to verify that I'm not a robot, right? Pick on the spiral galaxy, which is this. Wow, and this, and then bam, I create my account. So it's as pretty simple as that to create an account. So it asked me to let me save this. I'll need to I'll need to put in like a verification. It's going to send me a code my to the email I used to sign up, and I just have to keep an eye. I've not seen any yet. Let me check my notifications. Yeah, so I keep an eye out. 050. Okay, great. So now I've been able to create an account, and then I can actually select how many team members will be working with me. For now, I'm just going to just click just me. I'm saying I'm a student, right? Because GitHub has like some, a GitHub education or sort of student developer pack. So I'm just going to click on I'm a student, so I can be open to like opportunities around those directions. So what specific features are you interested in using? I can click all collaborative coding. You can see collaboration just like we did in the Google Docs documents. Yeah, project management, team administration. I can try to click all of them, but if you don't understand them, you can leave them, right? But biggest thing is the collaborative coding. Yeah, I can create pull request, notification, code review. So CI/CD. I forgot the meaning of CI/CD. And then community. So I'm just going to click continue. So yeah, and then it shows me like some sort of welcome page where I can click like either select it I want to enjoy the student benefit. Remember I told you that it has some student benefits, right? But then you're going to now verify that you have a student email and all those long journey. So, but I'm just going to click continue for free because what else or more? This is pretty interesting from GitHub. So, initializing your dashboard, and then it shows me like my dashboard, right? So, I've been able to create an account on GitHub. So the next thing now is now you have created this account. I'm going to make it pretty much simple, like pretty much simple for you all. Now you've created this account. The next thing will be okay, fine. At the hub, I created maybe a calculator project, or I created that what's it called, CV Builder app, web page, for example. Now, how do I add like those files onto like a repository here? So much so that I can access it anywhere. I can invite anybody to come collaborate on that same project. So, for example, if Shemilore created maybe the front end or like the designs and he uploads on GitHub, he can actually invite Oni or Fawaz or Adebayo just using an email so that they can actually work on it wherever they are. I'm going to show you how all that's going to happen. So now creating your first, I'll use the word pull request. It's called pull request or contribution. I'll use not pull request, contribution. Creating your first contribution. So first thing first, we are going to have simulate like our calculator project. So right here, I'm going to create a repository. So you remember, you can have like as many repositories as possible. So for your calculator project is a repository, your CV Builder app is a repository, just like that, keeps going. So I'm going to create repository right here, and then don't get overwhelmed by all of these things you see, right? All of this is just English, right? You just have to read to know what it does. So here I'm going to call this repository name. So I want to let the house like to tell me what I should call this project. No, we have done quite a few projects, at the hub. What project should we create a repository on our GitHub profile? Who wants to go first? Adebayo? No, not Adebayo. Oni or um Blessing. Okay, Blessing. What should we call the repository? Is Blessing here? Yes, I'm here. Naira Land Clone Page. What? Okay, Naira Land. Okay. Naira Land Clone Page. Okay, Naira Land. So I can decide not to give this. Yes. Yeah, I can call it Naira Land clone page, right? The clone page, Naira Land Clone Page. Okay. So I can decide to leave it like keep the spaces, like it will automatically add like the hyphen to it. Just look at this. You can see here, you can see here that it has added the hyphen automatically. So anyhow you want to do it, right? And then that was quick. That was quick. I'm going to take this again. My fingers were too fast. I'm going to delete this and take and do it again. Um, don't worry about this stage. You don't have to do this stage, please. I just wanted to show us like a process. I wanted to show us a process. Okay, so let's start again. Create repository, right? Call it Naira Land clone page, right? So here you can add like a description of what the page is about. Okay, this is a nairaland.com clone page built with. Did you guys use CSS or just HTML alone? Lesson. We use CSS. Okay, great. So now this is Nairaland clone page built with HTML and CSS. So it's a description. So this way, even if anybody comes to the project, they can understand what exactly is going on in the code base. So for code base, I mean like that's the folder that has like all your codes from your um, images to your index page to your whatever page. So now you can decide to either make the repository public or private. So I'm going to leave it as public so that anybody on the internet can see this repository. And if I'm showing my GitHub profile to someone, they will be able to see this Nairaland clone page because I have set it to public. But if I don't want anybody to see it, I'm just going to select this private option. But then for the purpose of this call, I'm just going to select it as public. Next thing now will be to either initialize the repository with a README. So just like you have the description, the project needs to have like some sort of steps. Are you supposed to install something, or are you supposed to copy something somewhere, or do something to ensure that the project runs? All of it will be in your README file, right? So we're not going to go so deep into it. We're not going to go so deep into it. I'm not going to initialize with a README because I want to show you how to create like a file like later. So and then there are two directions. When you start learning about Git, if you should create a project here and include a README, I think it's going to affect, or you have to like, I think, be extra careful when you're trying to push changes from your, and then push changes means you're trying to push like the content on your laptop to to the to GitHub. So I'm going to skip adding a README file, and then I'm just going to create this project. Ignore all of this for now, like git ignore and all of that. Leave all these ones as it is for now. But then there's like a use case later on. For example, your git ignore. Sometimes when you start building like large systems, and maybe you start learning Node.js, for example, there are some contents that you don't require to push to GitHub. For example, you don't want to push um, like some your credentials when you start building a system that interacts with like a database, like credentials to database. You don't have to push it alongside your project because, for example, if your project is public, everybody gets to see it. You don't have to push like your secret keys, you can push out public keys, but then secret keys, not necessary. So we're going to leave this one for now. But for for the purpose of this call, we're just going to click create repository, and then it's going to create a repository for us. So remember, first off, yeah, that this process now is just for a graphic user interface where that allows you to create like your calculator project. You can be at the hub, create a new repository, copy all of those files, and put on GitHub. And then when you get home, you can actually pull those contents, work on it, and then you can get back to the hub and then see the last thing you did while you are home. So this is just the purpose of this call. So let me see if there are questions anywhere. One sec. One sec. One sec. One sec. Okay, so let's go on. Let's go on. So yeah, you're now shown this page. So first thing first, like I don't get scared when I see like something that's new to me. I don't get scared. Like I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not supposed to be scared. All I have to do is just to read. And if I don't understand it, man, I look out for someone that can actually explain it to me, or I read it like a second time. So you can see here now that you can create. Now there's no file in this your project, this Nairaland clone page. There is no file, and by file I mean that your index page, index.html, or your second page.html, or whatever. There's no file in this project, and that's why it's telling me now that it's saying that there's no file, right? Get started by creating a new file. Let me increase this. Get started by creating a new file or uploading an existing file. So two things: I can create a new file here, or I can upload an existing file. Remember, this is a graphic user interface, or like, yeah, graphic user interface procedure to create like a project on GitHub. So what I'm going to do now is I'll read through it very well and then see, okay, what do I need to explain again to you guys? So for the next part, remember this is GitHub and Git. So we are doing GitHub first. For Git, all you have to do is just to use your terminal and then run all these things. Don't be, it's not scary. It's not scary. All you have to pick each of them one after the other. Git init, initialize it in your project, add your README file, or you add all the files in your project, commit, create a commit message, first commit, it can be anything. Then don't worry about this part. I'm just going to show you how to create, using the user interface. So now I want to create a new file. I click this new file, create new file right here. Yeah. And then it shows me like a blank page. So now this more looks more like your VS Code. For example, that this is the closer I can explain it to be. Remember, on your laptop, you will have this page. Can you mute your mics, please? On your laptop, you will have, for example, there will be a page that will be called Nairaland clone page. Yeah, and inside that folder, there will now be like files. For example, your index.html. You can see this now, like index.html, right? So I know that in that my project, there's going to be an index.html. Maybe there's going to be style.css, or there's going to be anything. So that's what's going to be what we're going to do here. So next thing now is to we are going to copy and paste. So I am creating a new file. Remember, next thing will be to copy and paste like that index.html file. So let me quickly see if I can pull up where is it? Let me see if I can pull up a template. Is it template? Boilerplate, I mean. So let me call it 1 second. Let me try to do it on my on my ID. Remember ID in the integrated drive environment, VS Code. So okay, good. So I've gotten like a boilerplate. I just paste it inside this sort of box, right? Like the editor. And next thing is to automatically it's going to create a commit for you. You can see here create index.html. So the essence of this is, remember, in our Google Docs sort of documents, let me go to version history. Let me go to version history. You can see here now that um it has some versions, but then the versions are named by the time. You can see here April 10 12 10 12 10 10 10 right here. Let me increase it a bit. 10 12 10 10 10 09, just like that. It keeps going, right? Up to 10 19 10 20. So these are like the version names, or like the commit names. So here now, it automatically knows that I created an index.html file. So I can actually, decide to add a description, or maybe to update this. So I can say created index.html file, right? And I can create like a description. Okay, index page shows, or index file. It can be anything. You can decide to skip it, or you can decide to skip it. File shows landing page, right? And then I create sort of commit new file right here. If it doesn't make sense, please drop it in the chat. So when you do that, it's now going to show you like that page now that has the index.html file. Pretty simple. So this way, I can just come to the top of my of how do I come to the top now? So I can come to the URL, and I can share it with somebody, yeah, and then the person can be able to see that, okay, I created a Nairaland cloned page, and then in that clone page I have an index.html file. Make sense? Does it make sense? Please put in the chat if it makes sense. Let me know if you guys are following. Please put in the chat if it makes sense. Good. Good. Only I've only gotten feedback from Tobiloba. Who else? Good. Only yes, 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 yes. Does it make sense? Ah, she's left the call. Okay. So I hope it makes sense. So just like you've created your index.html file, you can do that for your CSS or your whatever file, you can do that for it. So now the next thing is, if you want to add like more files, all you have to do is just to come to um, so Blessing, I was asking you if what I just did makes sense. So let me know in the chat if it makes sense. So I'm explaining now how to add multiple files, right? Like keep adding files to your project. So here I just have to click on add file, and then I can either create new file, or If I have the file in my laptop, right, all I need to do is just to select upload file, right? When I click on upload file, it's going to tell me to either drag the files here, or I can select, I can, let me increase it so you can see clearly. So I can either drag the file, maybe I have the folder open, I just drag it inside this spot and then it uploads it, or I can choose to I can choose my file. So I can just click on it, and then it's going to show me it's going to show me like a page where I can actually um what's the word? It's going to show me a page where I can upload the files and put in there. So, and then when remember, when you do it, you can actually create commit message. Okay, state like all of the files you have uploaded, or if it's a single file, you can leave it as that. Okay, uploaded maybe CSS style sheet, CSS style sheets. That sounds like tautology. Uploaded CSS file, because CSS is cascading style sheet. So CSS style sheet is just like saying UBA bank. Good. So then you commit your message, your change actually. You commit your change. That's all. And then your project like stays on where it is, where it stays on this page. So you're going to see a list of all of the projects right here. So it's pretty simple. Um, this is like the first part. So please try and get hands on it. The second part, not today, or maybe at the hub, will be to how to, rather than coming here to click add file, upload or create new file, while you are using your VS Code, your IDE, you can actually write some changes and then push automatically. I'm going to show you that one. That's not on this call, but to be later. So to make life easy or easier, this might look like so much work, right? So I'm going to like explore you to options. This might look like so much work. There's what they call GitHub desktop, right? Um, so there's what they call GitHub desktop, right? So GitHub desktop is like a way to make the process easier, and you can see there's GitHub desktop. So rather than using, you can see focus on what matters instead of fighting with Git. So some people have said that Git is actually, cumbersome, but then I expect that all of you should have a knowledge of Git. But then if it's becoming too much, you can actually make use of GitHub Desktop. It's pretty much simple. If you can use any application on your computer, you can definitely use GitHub Desktop. So you download for your respective browser, and then you can follow up that process. So this will be the ending part of today's call, because I have another call by 11, so I just need to prepare for that. So I will appreciate questions. I want to take questions from everybody. So think of it. I want to take questions from everybody, and I mean that. So we have like 10 persons on this call. So I want to expect that I get 10 questions before we wrap up today's call. So who's going to go first? Let me see. Shemilore, I want to take a question from you. Don't tell me you don't have questions. Shemilore, are you there? Yes, I'm here, sir. Okay. Actually, sir, can you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear. Um, I actually wait for like some minutes. I call came for my phone. Okay. So up to the point that we go to the create the index file, and from the Google GitHub developers, the student something. I actually missed that part. That's just my issue, but the rest I understood. Okay, but the part you miss pretty much is not hard. It's just to sign up. And I know that you created your Facebook account yourself. You created your Twitter account yourself. You also submitted the application to join the physical class yourself. So if you can do that, you can actually sign up on GitHub. It's pretty much simple. Yeah, I don't sign up for it, but I don't know how to use it. Just okay. Because I think like yesterday, when I was asking for one, it was talking about something called Git patch. That was meant to use Git bash, because I also put that calculator. Okay. But you didn't mention something about Git bash. So I didn't mention to do it the way you did it. Okay, I didn't mention Git bash. I didn't mention Git bash because it's going to be the second part when you're going to be using it on your terminal, right? Let me see if I can show you. Don't worry, I don't want to show you that. Next, we'll do the next part. Okay, so thank you, sir. All right then. So who's next? Blessing, I want to take a question from you. Blessing, I want to take a question from you. Okay, what's the difference between Git and GitHub? Like I said, the best explanation I can give for Git and GitHub. Wait, let me not jump talk, right? Let me make sure that it's the right thing. But for my sort of layman explanation about Git and GitHub, right? GitHub is like a repository bucket. Then Git is for version control. So for each versions you create, you use Git like to maintain those versions, and then you push to GitHub. Let me see if Dele Bakari is still here. Okay, he's not here. Uh, okay, good. Let me tell you like a pretty much interesting definition. Git, right, is used to locally manage your source code, right? GitHub is like a repository, where you can push your codes to. So for version control on your local storage, is not I'm not sure local is the right word, right? Because you can actually manage like the versions on your local environment, and then you can also manage the versions, on a remote environment, right? I've seen people, have a code base built on maybe DigitalOcean or AWS, for example. And then they can manage all of the processes like for each of the existing, I'm using too much words. They can manage like for every edit that they make on that project. Yeah. So GitHub is for um, to manage the source code for each of the versions that you create. So you add, like, for example, you add an index of HTML file, or you add a content inside your index of HTML file. It sort of manage all those processes for you. Who's next? Ibukun, I want to take your question. Please don't ask for someone has asked. Is Ibukun here? I'll come back to Ibukun. Can I modify my code? Yes, yes, Obasan Dauda. Yes, you can manage. You can modify your code directly. So you can look at this now. So let's take for example, you push this index.html project. Let me pin this. Uh, 1 second. Let me pin that so I can. Oh my god. Anyways, so you can see this. Okay, I believe you can see this screen. So when you want to edit your file directly, you just have to click on this index.html, right? And then it shows you. You can see now it shows me my code, right? Let me zoom out so you can see like the rest part of it. It shows you your code, and then when you move to the right of the screen, you can see a pen somewhere. You can decide to edit. You click on it to edit the file, and then you can edit as if you are typing in your IDE. You can see here that I can add maybe like a div. You can see. Let me put the closing, right, and then I can put like content, maybe my H1 element inside. So you get the gist, right? So you can see all of these, right? You can edit it, and then I can just click commit changes, but then you can add like description. If you're not the only one working on the project, it's best practice always add like a description to that change that you're trying to make to the document, and then you click commit changes. That's all. And then I'm going to show you something now. Remember in our Google Docs document, we were able to see like all of the time and the changes that happens, for the documents. If you look at the GitHub, our file on GitHub, you can see now that you can see latest commit or change commit, right, was now. You can see that it gave like a link to the commit. I can decide now to say, okay, what's the history like? I click on the history, and it shows me all of the history. You can see now favor find worker committed 29 seconds ago, 11 minutes ago, just like you have in Google Docs. You can see here, and I think you can see at the point where Timothy made a change. You can see Timothy right here. So it's pretty much the same thing, right? Very similar, actually, not pretty much the same thing, similar. And yeah, that's it. So you can go back to your. folder or your repository by clicking on this item here. So this way, for all of the projects you're going to build, you are going to add all of the projects on your profile. So I expect by Monday, you all should have created a like an account on GitHub. That's like the assignment. By Monday, you all should have created an account on GitHub. And then, right, we can now start pushing all of our codes, using this like very quick method. There's another method that's going to be how to use Git or GitHub desktop. But then this is like pretty much simple. You code before you leave the hub, you can just upload it to maybe to GitHub. Then you can go home and then continue where you stopped. So yeah, questions. Oluwakeji, have I taken a question from you?
Hello, sir. There are questions on the message box, the message.
Okay. So yeah, is it possible to revert back to changes in Google Docs? It's very possible, right? It's very possible. There is a, I think, it's not Git stash, right? It's possible. Then that's when we are learning. That's when we are learning Git. But let me see if I can revert directly. I have not tried to revert on GitHub, but I know I have done. I've tried to revert using Git. So like the terminal, like using Git Bash, I was able to revert to like a previous change. So let's see. Okay, I'll show you how to revert back using Git, right? I'll show you how to revert, to a previous change using Git. So you can revert to previous change. I'll show you using Git. Next question is there a way to not allow disruption on the code if public? So yeah, good question, similarly. So as it is now, it's a public document, but not anybody can just come and edit your document to. Not anybody can just come and edit it. So if possible, let me try and what do I do? So this is a public document. I'm going to copy. Let me try and open the document right here, like on another device. GitHub.com. Why does it tell me to always sign in? So GitHub.com. So it's a public document, but then even if you just come, if anybody comes and make any updates, it's not going to show until you approve it. Until you approve it. And then what I mean is, if I let me just try and log in with another account. Um, okay, just give me a second. I'm just trying to. I want to log in on another device, and then we can use that to try and see what Shemilere is asking. So let me copy this page to. Let me just paste it in the chat so I can pick it up from my other device. So yeah, I can now come to. One second. One second. Copy. Okay. Okay, so I have it open on another device. Now I want to try to edit some parts of that document, and then by edit I mean I will have to first thing, but this is like so way somewhat advanced though. So if I want to edit this current document that is showing on your screen, the user will have to clone that project. Um Let me go back to it. I will have to clone the project first off. Why can't I see clone on my mobile device? Okay, let me just do it right here. I'm going to log out of this. Let me sign out. Then I'll sign in with like another account. For my God, my God, my God, my God. Security breach. Um, so I'm going to now visit. Um, I'm going to visit Favor FW, right, which is users. Right, you can see joined 33 minutes ago. Let me follow him so his mind will come down. Then I can now select, I can view like a reposition. Here now I can see that Favor created a Nairaland clone page. I'm visiting this with a different account just for the records. So I can click Nairaland clone page. You can see now that, Shemilore, please look up. You can see now that I cannot just directly edit this file that Favor FW created. I can't just edit it. I will have to not yeah, I'll have to I'm using the F word, right? To fork the project. That's what it's called. FORK. That's what it's called. You can see it here. It's more like a cloning your like to clone your project. And then it will now look like it is my project, but it's not my project. When it's done, you see create new whatever, and then I click on create. So it's going to create a repository on my own profile. Like it picks like a mirror. It sort of mirrors that repository or that code base on my own profile. And now um I can edit. Yes, I can edit. You can see here I can be able to edit. I'm now able to edit this page. But if I edit this page, it's not going to show straight on. Let me say it is Shemilore that created it. It's not going to just go and update straight up in Shemilore's page. And if you look closely, you will see something here. Favor CH Nairaland clone page, right? But then it's showing here that it was copied from, I'm trying to avoid the F word, right? From Favor FW Nairaland clone page. So this is like the original document. So I want to now make an addition. I just maybe create another maybe H2 document, right? And then all I need to do is like to add I can add anything I want to do, right? Make the person understand what I'm trying to do here. So I have updated it on my own document, oh, but it's not showing on the person's document. And you can see closely here that it's now showing two contributors. So this is basically contributing to projects on GitHub. It's showing Favor FW and then this my other account, right? So what I need now to do is to um, create, I think, pull request. Yeah, I've created a pull request, new pull request, and then you can see here that there was like a changes from my own document and the person's document. Let's say Shemilo that created the document. You can see here that I added. You can see a plus sign that I added. This is heading to doc, right? So all I need to now do is to create this pull request. You can see here discuss and review the changes in this comparison with others, right? And then you can see that it's able to merge. So I create a pull request, added my description, and then bam. So this way, it's going to check. Oh, I think yeah, has no conflict with the base branch. I'll have to now go and log in on the other account to be able to see this. I think to see this and then to like approve the commit. Yeah, I'll have to go back there to see it and before I can approve it. So I'm just going to log out of this. I know it's stressful like to switch between accounts, but then for the purpose of this call, I'm just going to do something. Yeah. So you're going to see when I click on this page. So you can now see here now that it shows me pull request. So Favor has done the pull, made the pull request. It's going to show my page now that I made a pull request. I'm not going to click on this pull request first off. I am going to come to this index.html document. So you can see that what Favor types did not even show in my document. You can see here, the H2 document I created, H2 tag I created has not shown yet. But then if I should click on this pull request, you will see now that Favor CH opened 1 minute ago. If I should try to view what the project is, what it's like by clicking on it, I'm going to see, um, where is it? First time contributor. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to, let me click on this item here. Let me see the change. You can see here now that this was like an addition, right? This is a heading document. So it's my responsibility now to say, okay, if I want to add these documents now to my own profile. Like I want to update it on my own project. I just come to review changes, any of them. Either I can leave a comment, you know, or I just approve, right? Bam. So when that's done, it has been approved. Then I merge the PR, confirm merge. So that's all. So if I should now go back to the initial document, uh, if I should go back to the initial document, I should be able to see H2. You can now see this is a heading 2 document. So it's pretty much simple. So Shebulere can be in the US, I can be in the UK. Blessing can be in Russia, and then she can actually make contributions. And all of us can see, the owner of the document can now review, approve, and merge. So pretty much simple. So let me see if there are more questions in Chevrolet is asking how many GitHub accounts do I have? Okay, I have just two GitHub accounts now. The other account was a friend that signed up on my laptop. How many GitHub? I have just two now. Because of you guys, I created the second GitHub account. Is it possible to see all the log of the changes made on my code if I share it? Yes, it's very possible. So let me show you how to do that. So here at the top, you will see like all of the changes or commits that has happened. So now, so far, I can see all of the commits that have been made. I can also see, I think it's any of these two, right? Yeah, okay. I think it's any of those two. Um, Let me see the four commits that have been made on my account. So yeah, so click on commits and you will see a list. So I merged the pull request, a minute ago. Favor CH updated index.html. Favor FW committed 4 minutes ago. And then I can see the individual documents, like the progress. So here, when I created the document, I'm sure it was a blank document or so. Okay, no, it was just when I added like the boilerplate. Let me go back and let me zoom in. So for others, so I can see like the second change that happened. View commit details. You can see here that I removed a line somewhere here. You can see here I removed a line. Let me go back and click the third change that happened. You can see here that Favor added a heading 2 document just like that. It keeps going like that. So for every change that happens on that your repository, you can keep track of everything. So I want to see questions. Is there a limit to the account amount of code? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You want to write 5 million lines of code? I think GitHub is going to allow you. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure I can answer that question. But I think there is no limit. I think there's no limit. It's just like when you are. I think no, Excel sheet would have been pretty much in um, example, but I think Excel has like a limit. I'm not so sure as well. So, but I'm not sure that there's a limit to the number of lines you can write. But then I can actually check. Um, I'm not sure. Limit to number of lines. I doubt if there's like a limit. Uh, I doubt if there's a limit. So, questions. Is it possible to revert back like in yes? Is it possible to allow, not to allow? Is there a way not to allow destruction on the code if public? So, like I said, if your code is public, nobody can just come and it's just for people to see. Whoever is going to make any change to that your project must submit. You will now look at what the person has submitted and say, okay, fine, I want to add this to my code. If you don't want to add it to your code, you can just click cancel or not approve, right? And then your code still stays as it is. Ude, Pancho say it makes sense. Good. Different thing. I think I've done like all those things. So yeah, yeah. So I think that's the end of this conversation. I just hope that we are able to record the audio in this call. I hope. I've tried. It worked. But yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye. Bye, everyone. I want to hear like everyone say bye, everyone. I think. All right, now. Bye, 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 bye. Yeah, bye.
Bye, everyone.